Hey, what's up, world? Welcome to another edition of the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. I'm Jared Ball. Happy to be the only host on time this morning. The only one here, but I don't give a damn. You know why? And I'll just start off right off the top because it's the Remix Morning Show. What's up? It's BPM. What's up? Welcome everybody filing in. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? And we already know what time it is. Shout out to the Gold Cup. Shout out to Panama. Sending somebody home last night. No, I'm just playing. The U.S. Took an L last night. Panama beat the U.S. men's national team in the Gold Cup and has an opportunity to be the first team outside of Canada, the U.S. and Mexico to win the Gold Cup. They will play Mexico in the final. Mexico, unfortunately, dispatched Jamaica. So what's good? What's happening? So my in-laws are happy, which means I'm happy. And as I said, and as we'll be discussing more in depth in a week exactly, and I will be talking more about it. But as I've said in a recent interview with one of my forthcoming guests, on I Mix What I Like, that's how I like it. So just letting you know here that on the 20th next week at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we're going to have a nice roundtable we're putting together with a number of folks from the Pan-African footballing world, authors, coaches, professional players, podcasters. So we're really going to get into it next week. I'm looking forward to that. So in the meantime, between time, that's it, holding it down. Don't forget later on this morning or this afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern, Dr. Cornell West is back with us. I have a new set of questions that I'm going to bring to him. And a few I'm sure he hasn't gotten anywhere. Although I can't prove it, but I'm sure of it. So definitely come on back for that. I believe Jackie's going to join us for that one. And I'm not entirely sure. I don't know where everybody's at. But I'm here. I'm happy to be here. What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Okay. Soberg with the Fanon birthday. Okay. Yeah, Wes coming back. He said he's gonna make it a routine visit. Oh, Leah. Oh no. Yeah, they better not tell him I'm busy. I got a BPM date. That said, though, I have a few stories this morning, and one in particular, like sticking with the sports world, that I'm the Schadenfreude is strong today. The hate is strong today. It's a good sporting day for me. So, I can't wait to get into a couple things. And I think coming up here in a minute is somebody who will definitely be able to appreciate one of those stories for sure. For sure. How can Dr. Cornell West support freeing Rochelle McGee, Mumia, and domestic I don't know. Anyway, but joining the show, the Remix Morning Show, burn it down, Kim Brown.
Oh man. Ooh, that bootleg reverb needs some work there, Dr. Ball.
Hey, I think I actually disagree. I think I'm holding it down quite well.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah. We need the turntable technician to come on back. What is this vacation, man? What is
I
this?
don't know. Who
Who authorized this unpaid time off? Who approved this PTO request? Who did
So
that?
my thing is, being that this for me is a Panama celebration day, I'm gonna bring in a little Panamanian
Oh.
saying, and I'm gonna say in the context of the remix,
Say
tres
it in Spanish.
gatos,
Okay, in
tres
Spanish.
gatos, tres gatos,
Three cats.
three cats. If even three cats show up, you have fun with the three cats. So in other words, like my godfather said, let's not lament who ain't here, let's enjoy who is.
All
So
right.
that's the point. Tres
Let's-
gatos. So we
oh.
dos gatos this morning, but anyway, so I don't, so I don't know what's up with these. I didn't approve any of these vacations, so I don't know. Just people just running amok around here. So I don't know when he's coming back. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know who signed off on it. You know,
I
but
blame management. I blame management.
that's what I'm saying. Me too.
I blame the management structure around here. I blame
Yes,
management. Yes.
I fully agree. So
Ain't you part of the management structure?
yes,
Yes.
and we have. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza.
Come on. Come on. Hey, well,
So,
in the absence of our dear brother Kamal, it's the 15th check week, everybody. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to
oof,
trying to empty them pockets. Turn your
oof.
pockets out, okay? Because don't let Revolutionary Debo come on the screen and really start shaming y'all for not supporting the channel. So support Black Power Media in the ways that you are able. Super chats are always welcome. You can become a channel member. You can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Black Power Media, Cash App, $ Black Power Media. Don't make Camus come up here, y'all. Camus, don't start tucking your chains now.
Don't start tucking your chains. Head on over to blackpowermedia.org and pick your weapon of choice
That's right.
and support the channel. And
Yeah,
don't
and
have Camus coming out here looking for
don't
you.
Camus will find you, okay? Camus is gonna come in your inbox, be like, "What's up now?" Also, don't forget to support the second edition of the Myth and Propaganda of Black Buying Power. It is in stores now on your
Wait,
shelves.
but wait,
It's
no, wait, I have a better. I just got some
oh
news on that. So
news. Yes.
so so because okay. So because the Casey Foundation, part of the Freedom Scholar Award is them buying uh $10,000 worth of the book.
Mhm.
And because the publisher, I just saw the email, dropped the cost of the hard copy,
Nice.
I am set. If it holds, I'm set to receive in the mail, hopefully not too long from now, 400 plus copies of the hard copy. So as I keep saying, I've been teasing it, I know, but it's not really my fault. We are going to have like a second virtual launch party of sorts where we can have a really good time with some giveaways, some reduced cost sales, some you buy a copy and the money will go to, I don't know, something related to political prisoners, maybe prison radio or love not fear, and something like that. We're going to work that out. So if you're considering buying a copy and you want a copy, hold tight if you can, and come on back, or get a copy and come back for the prizes that you could give away. Or anyway, so yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I hope they
I
expedite
feel
the
like
shipping.
like the way that you're waiting on this shipment of books, it really reminds me on the way I used to wait on my Columbia House, my 12 CDs for a penny. And I'd just be staring at the mailbox for 6 weeks. Where are my damn CDs for a penny? Columbia House. Where they at? That's why I feel as checking
Yes,
the mailbox every day looking for his 12 CDs for a penny.
that's how you do it, DC Joe Black. That's how they get you run the numbers up and get on the bestseller list. Actually,
Hey.
didn't I read? I thought I did the math at one point. I think you need like, isn't it just just three to 6,000 gets you on that? I don't know.
What?
Maybe I'm probably
Really?
wrong. I'm probably wrong. I'm
If
probably wrong.
if those numbers are correct, Black
That's
Power
probably
Media
wrong.
remixers, we gotta step our game up.
No,
We
that's
need
probably wrong. Don't
I
quote me
don't
on
know.
that.
Okay, oh, fine, fine,
But
fine.
but I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for the super chat, Parker. What state will Dr. West get the most votes in? I don't know. The Green Party, I think, is on, they said, somewhere between 15 and 20 states ballots. So they got some work to do to get him on more ballots. I don't know. That's a good question.
They do got some work to do.
That's a good question. So you think it's 5,000, Zenz? Thank you, Zenzabel.
Zenzabel, what you got? 4,099, 999 on it.
Right, exactly.
Come on, y'all ballers. I know y'all revolutionary ballers out here. Come on. I'm just playing with you, Zenzi.
Anyway, so what else is going on? You hit a return of sorts on Burn It Down. You've been back in the Burn It Down streets.
Yes. I'm like, what? Yes.
No, back. With your show. The hiatus ended and back at it.
I was talking about on my Tuesday show. I was talking about the changes in the abortion laws somewhat in Indiana and the progress that reproductive justice rights activists made in Ohio to get the constitutional amendment that protects a woman's right to choose, basically, that enshrines it into the Constitution. And they were able to get those signatures. They smashed it, as far as I can tell. But the Republicans are still playing dirty tricks. Not to say that the Democrats don't play dirty tricks, but the GOP is not playing games in Ohio. So if you're registered to vote in the state of Ohio, early voting is underway. They want you to vote. I think it's vote no on issue 1. Issue 1 is what will raise the threshold to change or amend the Ohio State Constitution from a simple majority of 50+1 up to 60%, a supermajority. And this will impact ongoing state constitutional issues in perpetuity should it pass. So activists are really trying to get people to the polls. Polls close on August the 8th. So if you're in Ohio, you got to go to the polls and vote no on issue 1 and vote yes to enshrine bodily autonomy and a woman's right to choose into the state constitution this November.
Right on.
But then it got more fucked up in Iowa. And then Iowa said, hold my beer. We're going to make this shit worse. Oh my God.
Hold my beer. Yeah.
It's a madness.
Speaking of making it worse, Infinite Content suggesting that Dr. West could get DeSantis. DeSantis is already there. So I don't think him getting another election, or you're saying if he runs for president, I'm sorry. So if he runs for president, I don't accept those arguments. I don't accept that Nader caused Bush. I don't accept that Jill Stein and them caused Trump. I don't accept that, so I just,
Is the Green Party as well funded and resourced as the Democratic Party?
Exactly.
I mean, Democrats to point the finger at the lowly funded Green Party that don't even be on all the goddamn ballots. What?
On no debates, no national coverage. No. Like, come on. Stop it. Look at the ear doctor with his 99 cents on vacation.
What's up, man? You keep that 99 cents, Air Doctor. You use that to pay your Wi-Fi bill and come on up in here with us so you can press some buttons. We miss you. We miss you
trolling us on vacation.
You can't be leaving us. What is this?
You can throw some pennies at Kamau while he's on vacation. That's messed up. Anyway, so listen, let's speaking of Ear Doctor, what I'm sure that was a reminder of the clock. So let's go ahead and slap the map. And
Massa is on our neck from the chat. Come on, Massa.
Because I got some stories, and I know you gonna rock with me on this one. Oh, kid, we gonna have some fun with this one. Let's
Indeedy. Yes, yes, y'all. BPM Remix Show be the best, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Thursday, July 13th. Here we are back again. Black Power Media exclusive, exclusive. It's the Remix Morning Show. There you go. DJ Dr. Jared Ball on the ones and twos in the
Hold
corner.
up. You know what? I got something. I got something for. I got something. I got something. Here we go. Here, look,
What you
look,
got?
look. Here we go. Sound effects. High level production. Making Emma upset if I get near the drops again.
Oh
You know.
man, you can take the
Mm-hmm.
boy off the radio. Can't take
Yeah.
the radio out the boy though. The boy, that boy going to do radio even on the YouTube. I love it. I love it, Jared. Yes.
So Kim,
What's up?
Kim.
What's up?
I spent I went down so many rabbit holes last night. This story right here is the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm very glad you're here to join me with this one. From ESPN, fresh off of all their firings, they still got some reporting going on, thankfully, because this story about the Washington Commanders owner, Daniel Snyder, soon to be former owner, is just so juicy. So juicy. He was free and clear, says the headline. How the leak of John Gruden's emails led to the fall of Commanders owner Dan Snyder.
Wow.
Now,
John Gruden, for those that may not
yes,
remember, Super Bowl winning head football coach. I believe he won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay.
he
And
did.
then mediocre. Well, that was Tony Dungy's team, by the way, that he
Thank
won the
you.
Super Bowl
Yes, he
with.
did. Yes.
We need to make that in there for context. But then, he had some head football coaching stints, including at the Washington Commanders, but it was leaked in
Yes.
some emails. Was it the Post that leaked these emails?
No, and so it was the Times, the Washington Times.
Oh,
And as
shit.
this story reports, because the leaks are the evidence is pointing to Daniel Snyder as the source of those leaks. And the fact that they went to the Times and not the Post is part of the evidence, because if folks have any idea, there's so much inside baseball, pun intended, in a football story, that Daniel Snyder has a long beef with the Washington Post. He does not like the Washington Post
And does not like Bezos personally.
Exactly. They have their own. So he has that level of beef. He also has the beef with a number of the reporters there, because he had at one point bought the most popular sports talk station in the area because he wanted to have a bulwark against the Washington Post. I mean, this dude. So this story, as you see here, what's her name? Perez. Is it Dominique Perez? I forgot her name. Wait, I wrote it down. From Rock Nation. We'll come back to her.
Okay.
So you get in this story, you get on screen there, DeMaurice Smith, the now I think I think he's the former president now. I think he got voted out in the last vote.
The Players Association.
The Players
right?
Association,
Yes.
right. I think he's just gotten replaced, because that plays a factor. The vote plays a factor in this story too. So you got him being black plays a particular factor in this too. DeMaurice Smith, the former, and now I think head of the Players Association. Right there is Roger Goodell, the what is it, $40 million a year commissioner of football.
Damon.
Sorry. His absolutely his rival, and this is the other part. John Gruden's hated Roger Goodell. They have their beef, and that's part of this story as well, which is just Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, and his beef is just all of this, and then the involvement of Jay-Z, Rock Nation, Perez. Yes, Kim, this story is so. I ended up highlighting the whole damn thing, and it's a very long story. So there's so much to get to. So I want to try to quickly. Okay, so here's the situation. Daniel Snyder comes in 1999 and buys then the Washington Redskins, which was one of the most famous and wealth producing franchises in all of sports, not just football. It's extremely
profitable.
The team under his run, I think, has only had 2 significant wins in the 20 whatever years, or however many years it's been. The team has just sucked under his ownership. It has been managed poorly, the stadium run down, the cheerleaders mistreated. I mean, so much is just. I mean, it has just been. And the fan base driven away, myself included. This is the man that said he would never change the name from the Redskins, who he said he would never sell the team. Now both of those things are finally happening. I mean, it is just all right.
Look at God.
Remember, he made his money off of spam emails. That's how Snyder. I mean, so like he's just a horrible dude all the way around. But anyway, so he buys the team. The team's terrible. Develops what they call a lot of reports come out about a toxic environment evolving. Again, the mistreatment of cheerleaders, the abuse of staff, the turnover of employers, employment.
So much so that it warranted a congressional hearing, several congressional hearings.
Exactly, and all. Oh man, yeah. So the short of it.
Like you're
I'm so happy about this. Oh my God. I know.
I'm happy too. Like I'm all excited. Like, ooh.
I really can't impress upon people how much this means to me. Like I'm not even proud of it. My whole life, for most of my life, was wrapped around being a fan of this team. And this man literally single-handedly destroyed it. I mean, he just all by himself destroyed everything. I don't like the team no more. Add to a couple other things. I don't even watch the sport no more. But when this story came out, I'm just like down with everybody. So there's a lot to get to here. But I guess I don't know exactly what the best way to do it, because it's really a long story. But the short of it is that to get away from being in trouble himself, to get attention off of himself and this focus of the toxicity and the selling of the team and all of this, Daniel Snyder, while on suspension, he had been already put on suspension while all of these things had been investigated. And the reason the headline reads this way, that he was free and clear, is that if he had just waited out his suspension and was a little more patient and willing to stay away from team meetings and all this, and owner meetings and all this stuff, he would have gotten away with everything. Everything would have blown over. But instead, this article suggests, they don't have the smoking gun per se, that he leaked these emails, that 650,000 emails, after threatening the Goodell and the NFL, saying, if you try to get rid of me, I'll burn down the whole league. I'll take down the whole league. And after not getting exactly what he wanted, and after even basically writing his own punishment under the initial suspension, just is still impatient enough that he says, well, look, and this is where it starts getting tricky. I know Goodell has a beef with John Gruden. I know Goodell wants to get rid of Gruden and doesn't like him in the league. They have a long-standing beef that this article goes into. So he says, I want to help Goodell maybe get in his good grace by sending him something that will give him ammunition to get rid of John Gruden, which turned out to be these emails that Gruden sent over 10 years old at the time, that were involving anti-gay and anti-black and anti-women sentiments. He calls DeMaurice Smith, the brother who was the head of the NFLPA, he calls him DeMaurice.
Right? I'm sorry. DeMaurice. I thought he called him some sort of monkey reference. Maybe I'm imagining that.
The article here only refers to a racist trope after the DeMaurice. They don't explain, they don't go into any more detail about the detail of the anti-black and anti-gay slurs. So we can just assume, we're left to basically assume exactly what was said. But it was worse than calling him dumb. It was specific to his blackness, and other emails were specific to people, or referring to people in a derogatory way, using anti-gay slurs, et cetera, and so forth. So Snyder says, I'm going to help Goodell get rid of Gruden by turning over these emails, which also include scandalous emails between Bruce Allen, who was at the time a top executive, or for a while a top executive under Snyder,
the longtime general manager.
Exactly, 10 years with the Washington team, who was initially brought in as rumors had it at the time, because Bruce Allen, son of George Allen, brother to the other Allen, the racist politician in Virginia, was going to help the team get relocated a new stadium in Virginia. That was supposed to be part of, and he was supposed to also clean up the image of the team's management, because for so long Snyder had been working with this dude Vinny Serrato, who was terrible and mismanaged the team. So they were like, Bruce Allen's going to clean all this up. But apparently Bruce and Snyder ended up having beef. So he's like, I'm going to give these emails over. I'm going to snitch on Gruden. I'm going to snitch on Allen. And I'm going to snitch on Goodell's buddy, this dude Pash, I think. And everybody's going to ignore me and fire each other, get rid of everybody else, and I'm going to walk away scot-free. Well, no, because in those emails were all this stuff about the Washington football team and all this, and that gave ammunition to the Washington football team and its mismanagement and toxicity. Oh, there's so much in here. So I'm just going to, but just for the sake of time, let me just, so this is where, so in an overlap, now, after the Colin Kaepernick thing, the NFL, so they're also trying to play on the fact that the NFL is trying to recover from Kaepernick and trying to clean up its image and its image along with race. So the article starts to make reference to how the NFL brought in a $25 million contract with Jay-Z's Rock Nation.
That's it? Well, 25 million? That's it? I'm sorry, is there more?
So, well, there's not more directly, but what the article suggests is that Rock Nation ended up becoming the de facto PR firm for the league and started, overriding NFL offices and between that and placing all of their artists in Super Bowls and campaign ads. I figure they think they're going to get much more in the long term than just the initial 25 million. That's my assumption. They don't, go too much into that. But that's what it looks like in the article. But for me, the more beautiful overlap is that Rock Nation uses this law firm called Reed Smith that also Dan Snyder used, because they have a reputation for being very aggressive in defense of their high, falutin clients. So, and this is where Desiree Perez gets brought in, because she's the CEO of Rock Nation. Now, for those who maybe remember Desiree Perez, and this is the part of the rabbit hole I went down last night, Perez, folks remember, had been allegedly reported with documentation to have been a federal informant at one point in the 90s to get out of cocaine charges by snitching on these cartels that got a bunch of people locked up, but got her free of all of that has played a role in Dame Dash and Jay-Z's fractured relationship and Jay-Z and other people's fractured relationship. And there's all this stuff online, whether from everybody from Jay-Z's old partners to Tekashi 6ix9ine, all talking about how, don't talk about me being she the chief snitch, and everybody who works with Rock Nation is a snitch, and everybody who has a contract with Rock Nation is siding up with a snitch and a rat. And I mean, it is just, it's just so much going on. So, oh man, this article is just so beautiful. I could just sit here and talk about it all day. By the way, this is Dan Snyder and his wife. And Kamal would have appreciated this, because his wife Tanya is in what Jews might call a shiksa. And it's the Jewish version of the black celebrity getting his white wife. So here's Dan. Dan got his white trophy blonde wife. And they're all going down together. It's anyway.
It's a beautiful thing. I mean,
it's just a beautiful thing. So anyway, here's Jay-Z with Goodell. Here's Jay-Z with Desiree Perez, and it says here, and it talks about how part of the evidence that they think Snyder's leaked the emails is because this is exactly what Perez and her crew did with Reed Smith, that law firm, in in helping Rodriguez, what's his name? His first name, the baseball player, Alex Rodriguez. That's right. In his lawsuit against, it says here, Perez and Reed Smith were allegedly involved in leaking documents to reporters and putting private investigators on now MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred to help Rodriguez's lawsuit against Major League Baseball. So this is what they do. Like they get grimy in their work to put pressure on their opponents to cave in lawsuits and cases that they have against Reed Smith's clients. So
You're playing chess, not checkers.
I mean,
I mean, no, this is big
anyway.
game. This is Game of Thrones intrigue,
Oh,
right?
this
Like, I
is
mean,
it really is
it's
perfect.
class
Yeah.
warfare. You know what I'm saying? This is exposing of so-called, street dudes doing very, very non-streety shit.
Right.
But I guess gangsters do snitch. Well, but Jay-Z ain't no gangster. And she ain't no gangster, but maybe she was running with gangsters. But it's nice that the cartels just let that go, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I
if
don't know the depths of the story, and I don't know to what extent they did let it go, and I don't know to what extent other people paid the price for
mm,
her decision. I don't know those details. I just know that this is. I've been hearing this for years, but this is part of the association with her, and that there is apparently a good amount of source and documentation to support the claims, but
mhm.
and even this article makes reference to her at some point working with the feds, wearing a wiretap, and I mean all kinds of she so. And maybe sort of as a segue to something else I have for us to talk about potentially this morning. It was noted in this article that Mark Davis, who was the owner of the Raiders, was trying to defend John Gruden, who was at the time his coach, um, and was initially trying to get him to withstand the storm after the emails were initially reported to have included racist remarks. So the anti-black remarks they thought they could get by, but then in this section here, it's they said he calls up Gruden and says we've got a problem because it's a new batch of emails with anti-gay references
And they
that
had a gay player. I believe
and
the Raiders
exactly Carl
had their
Nassib.
their
Yep.
first openly gay player on the team. So Gruden is making these homophobic slurs and remarks and emails. Meanwhile, he's coaching the first openly gay player in the league.
And more than that, as it says here, I got an email from the New York Times. Davis said a story was being prepared about Gruden's anti-gay emails about Goodell. Davis told friends he now had been backed into a corner. He wasn't just the owner of the Raiders, who had a defensive end, Carl Nassib, the first active player to come out as gay on its roster. Davis also owned the WNBA's Las Vegas Aces with lesbian players, staff, and fans. So he said, we've got a problem. Yeah.
Dog, you can't own no WNBA team and then be talking shit about the gays. That shit do not go
That
together.
is probably not going to work. But to your point about class, I think this part is very important in reminding us what happened to John Gruden, because as I think many of us would say, fire me if I'm still going to walk away with a good amount of an undisclosed 10-year, $100 million contract.
That's right.
So
He had that ginormous. Wasn't that
yeah,
the biggest coaching
yep.
contract at the time? Wow.
Yep. And so they said, and I'm suspicious because if you read the full article, Mark Davis, the owner, had done several things to protect Gruden, even offered to pay his fines, do all this other kind of stuff. I suspect that it's left undisclosed because they don't want people to know that he probably gave him damn near the whole $100 million, and either legally had to or just chose to, and they don't want people to know that he got fired, he got in trouble, he's mad, but Gruden still walked away with $100 million, and or close to it, and as I said, fire us all if that's the golden parachute that we all walk away with. So anyway, so Snyder. Anyway, I guess Snyder trying to get out of trouble and put the focus on other people just got himself in more trouble. And but sort of to the point again about class is that he bought this team. I think at the time, was it even 2 billion or 1 billion? But after all of these decades of losing, of never winning a Super Bowl, no meaningful victories, of a dilapidated stadium, a toxic environment, abusive cheerleaders, et cetera, and so forth, he's selling the team for over 6 billion. So he's still going to make a huge profit for having done nothing but just turned this team into a laughing stock and an embarrassment and a horrible place to work. So anyway, there's so much more. I just was loving the whole story. I read every word was going. Anyway, it was just beautiful.
Can we credit the reporters who
Oh,
was
I'm sorry. You know what?
responsible for
Absolutely.
this piece
Thank
of
you.
journalism
All I
here?
did was say is ESPN and joke them for firing everybody. You're right.
Right, right,
Don,
right.
Don, you know what? It's two of them. Let me put their name on the screen. Let me give them all the flowers because you know, these are my heroes right now. Don Van Natta Jr. and Seth Wickersham. And Kim, right on for reminding me to do that. Right on. Don
Why,
Van
why does
Natta
that name sound
Jr.
familiar?
and
Was
Seth.
he an announcer? Well,
I
obviously,
honestly don't
clearly the
know.
son. Don Van Natta,
Yeah.
the name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I think
But
both of them sound familiar just from ESPN reporting, but I don't. Yeah. Anyway, shout out to them. Great, they really did. I mean, the story is fantastic. It's very, very detailed, and I just love all of the twists and turns. And it's all a bunch of shadiness. People exploiting each other, trying to symbolically cover. You know, as you said, the Game of Thrones. They describe in there a circular firing squad among all these these rich folks, and I was just like, yes, pull the trigger on all these, like
I
let it
mean, it's
all
so
go.
funny. Like, and no one is more deserving of this karmic justice than Dan Snyder. Like,
Oh
for
man.
example, it was no doubt in my mind. I mean, per the threat that you referenced earlier, when Dan Snyder said, "I'm burning this whole bitch to the ground, taking everybody with me." That story that leaked out about Cowboys owner Jerry Jones showing up to the well, I call it the Klan rally, but I guess it was the protesting of the integration of North Little Rock High School back in the 50s, and the pictures that came out of Jerry Jones at that gathering. You know,
Yep.
Dan Snyder put that shit out there. Who else put that out there? You know that was Dan Snyder because it came weeks within his threat. And the timing of it could not be denied. So I love the fact that they were trying to take each other down, out, circular firing squad, etc. So
I love it too. I wish
but
there was more.
The NFL as an entity still needs to go away. I mean, I'm like
Mm-hmm.
you, Jared. After I think it was 2006 that I finally abandoned the football team because
Mm-hmm.
I was just I was tired. You guys, people that are fans of this franchise in this area, like productivity in the federal government is abysmal on a Monday after the football team has lost. Like
That's true.
all the football fans are despondent. Nobody wants to talk. I mean, nothing gets done in Washington, right? So even after that point in '06, when I abandoned the football team, I adopted the Baltimore Ravens. I said, okay, the Ravens is a good franchise, da 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 da. And then the incident with Ray Rice took place, and it wasn't even just the incident;
Mm,
it was the way the Ravens handled the incident. And I will never forget to this
mm,
day, Janae Rice. I think she was his fiance at the time. Ray Rice's, partner, who he was on video punching in the face. She got up at a press conference and apologized for her role in the
mm-hmm,
situation. And I said, you know
mm-hmm.
what? Thank you, NFL. I'm finished. That is quite enough. You made a domestic violence survivor apologize for getting punched in the face. I was so disgusted with the Baltimore Ravens on that day. I said, you know what? I'm good on football. This is fine.
And I remember the video from that. I
Oh, how
mean,
could you not?
and
How could you forget?
it's you know, with all due respect, I don't even think you're doing it justice. I mean, he didn't just. He Tyson blowed knockout punched her. Like it was not that any level is acceptable, but I just want to clarify. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it was like my dude. Uh, yeah. And he couldn't come back. I mean, it was he never recovered. You know,
Ugh, I
I think
still have a
rightfully
Ray
so.
Rice jersey. I still have Ray Rice's jersey. It's
Mm.
so terrible. I don't even know what to do with it. I guess I could throw it in the garbage, but I just see it and I'm like, God damn. See how you will end up caping for fucking terrible people.
Hmm. Well,
Mm.
speaking of not caping for not terrible people, we got the prophetess is here, the exact
Oh,
opposite of all of that.
there
Hey
she go.
y'all.
Good
Hey
What's up,
morning.
y'all.
Jackie? Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. What did I roll up in on?
Just some hate.
Oh,
A great day. The hate tastes so good this morning. Oh my God, it
oh,
was just delicious. I just been, give me seconds. Send me back to the buffet. I mean, it's just been, oh, man, I love it. I love it. I had such a good time reading that story, man. I can't stand some Dan Snyder, and all of them can go
uh,
down. You're right. Roger Goodell, all that $40 million a year to watch people break themselves and
Oh my
and
God.
and
Yeah.
and 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 leave in a year or two.
mhm.
All of it can
And
go.
and
Yeah.
players are still getting suspended for marijuana use. I mean, it's
Oh wow.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like this is
that's
a league that pumps their players full of opioids and painkillers, but they can't smoke weed to dull their pain. No, no, no. That's a season-long suspension.
That's a good point.
And they can't participate in sports betting, even though the NFL teams have contracts with these sports betting companies to get a piece of the sports betting profits. But if the players uh, uh, do any of the sports betting, they get fined or suspended. I mean, okay, yeah. So I'm plenty of hate from me too, especially Dan Snyder. I hate.
Yes, I just and not that I don't even look. I know this Josh Harris crew or whoever is supposed to be coming in. I know they're not. We know we're gonna look under the hood and find some dirt there. Whatever.
Right?
But
you're not excited, Magic Johnson? The Magic Johnson.
Well, at this point, basically I am. What I'm admitting is that I'm not. I'm not exercising the best of objective analysis. I'm up here just so happy this dude is leaving. I don't even give a damn what's coming in next. It's just not thoughtful. It's like what Dr. Clark used to talk about the Africans. What did he say? He was like the people of Kemet got the Persians off their back, and then here came the Greeks or something like that. It was like it's like we're not thinking far enough ahead. I'm just like, get this immediate beast off me, and then I'll deal with the next one later. Anyway,
Anthony, I hate in the name of Jesus.
I know that's right. Say that.
I hate
in the name of the
fire of the Holy Spirit.
We don't love the devil.
I hate with the burning embers of the
Yes.
Lord our Savior, who also hates wickedness and evil. That is how I hate my brother. Oh, praise.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, anyway.
Kiss my ass. I'm the biggest hater.
Hey, I want you to start dropping that boo, John, when we get terrible comments in the chat. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
bring the comment on screen and hit the boo. Hit the boo.
Boo. Yeah, there we go. That's next. That's next. Anyway. If we can, I don't know if you all have stuff to get to, but if we can kind of stay with the sports theme for a second.
Sure.
I did see this story as well that came up from my beloved soccer world, where Megan Rapinoe, on her way out in terms of retirement, slams Dave Chappelle and Martina Navratilova for transphobia. And as she says here, it is particularly frustrating when women's sports is weaponized. She said policy. By the way, Rapinoe is a sort of a legendary player with the U.S. Women's national team, who, quite unlike the men, actually win.
Wasn't she the first professional player to actually take a knee in solidarity, or one of a?
She was one of them.
Players?
She did. She took it. We have to, and that's an important point. I'm glad you remind me of that, because that's an important, I think, some context for this story. But she did do that. And she has been sort of steadfast as one of the most outspoken. She was also a leader of the movement, by the way, to get women pay equity. So the women are now paid the exact same as the men.
Ooh, they need to be paid more because they win.
Well,
but I'm sorry.
I mean,
how about that?
Now why they win is a separate conversation that I think is interesting, in the sense that because of the anti-womanness, the misogyny in the rest of the world, and the absence of resources, women's leagues are not as well supported internationally as here. And as that slowly starts to change, I think these women, particularly these white American women, might want to enjoy their current walk in the sun, because I don't think it's going to last forever. But currently that is true. They win and should absolutely, be getting.
Are they two-time World Cup winners?
At least two. I'm not entirely sure how many, but they are routine winners, and I'll double check that, and the chat can happily check us on that. But they win a lot, and when they don't win, it's kind of a story. It's a little bit of an issue. So unlike the men, who again lost last night to Panama in the Gold Cup. So
Viva Panama, Viva Panama.
Let's go. Anyway, so she says here,
won 4 titles.
Oh, nice. Okay, exactly.
4.
Thank you. I'm
Wow.
not
Yeah.
surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes.
not surprised to hear
And
that. Yeah,
Rapinoe herself, I think, has been part of 2 of those. If
that makes sense. That sounds about right because she's been around for a minute.
so I'm
And yeah, yeah.
So clearly somebody asked her about I mean, was she asked about Chappelle and Martina Navratilova, or what did she just volunteer this?
Well, this story, this is the only one I read, so I don't know the full. I don't know if it's better reported or differently reported elsewhere. But as this story reports it, she was she offered it up. There was no specific question about either one of the people. If I'm reading this correctly, she was asked more generally about her time, on what she her role post retirement, I think, with the team, and that led to her giving some thoughts about the state of the game. I could be checked on that. I'm not. I'll double check that, but I don't remember this article asking or it being reported that way in this story. That, in other words, she did just offer it up. But anyway, maybe my own highlight of, I don't know. What it says here is that she says it's particularly frustrating when women's sports is weaponized, she said, of policies preventing trans women and girls from participating in sports in the magazine's July 24th cover story. Now we care about fairness. Now we care about women's sports. That's total bullshit. And show me all the trans people who are nefariously taking advantage of being trans in sports. It's just not happening.
That part.
Across the country, state level lawmakers have been attempting to ban trans athletes from competing in women's and girls sports. In 2023 alone, North Dakota, Wyoming, and Kansas all passed similar bans. And in April, the Republican-controlled U.S. House of Representatives approved a bill that would ban trans women and girls from participating in women's athletic programs. Rapinoe was one of 40 professional athletes who signed a letter opposing the legislation. The bill has no chance of passing in the Senate, where Democrats hold the majority. She also, I'm just quickly looking. It doesn't, anyway. She also took direct aim at anti-trans voices like Martina Navratilova and ESPN anchor Sage Steele, who have both opposed trans women's participation in sports, as well as transphobic comedian Dave Chappelle. I don't want to mince words about it, Rapinoe said. Dave Chappelle making jokes about trans people directly leads to violence, whether it's verbal or otherwise, against trans people. When Martina or Sage or whoever are talking about this, people aren't hearing it just in the context of elite sports. They're saying the rest of my life, this is how I'm going to treat trans people. Mm. You're taking a real woman's place. That's the part of the argument that's still extremely transphobic, she said. I see trans women as real women. What you're saying automatically in the argument, you're sort of telling on yourself already, is you don't believe these people are women. Therefore, they're taking the other spot. I don't feel that way. In addition to signing the letter opposing federal legislation seeking to ban trans women and girls from participating in women's sports in April, Rapinoe also dedicated her spot on this Times 2023 Women of the Year list to transgender community. I am only here because of them, she told attendees at the magazine's Women of the Year gala in March. We all know what's going on in our country, which with the attempted erasure of trans people, transgender people, she added, offer us a full view of what it means to be human in the world, a whole opportunity to be the crazy ass human beings that we are. That's a great gift, end quote. So I first saw this story reported on Comedy Hype, where they sort of read the headline and had, comedians respond. So I wanted to at least read something to give a little more context. But anyway, that's the story. That's the story. Yeah. Do either of you? Because I have. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't. There's always a good opportunity for political education, always, because people just literally don't do research. There have been athletes in college level and professional sports who are transgender can't participate in the league that aligns with their gender unless they have gone through hormone replacement therapy and they have a certain level of estrogen and testosterone, respectively, um, that aligns with their gender. So this idea that, let's say Leah, I think it's Leah Thomas, the swimmer, is that her name? Um, the idea that Leah Thomas has a biological um, advantage because Leah still has the physique of a man. Leah has gone through hormone replacement. Thank you. Leah has gone through hormone replacement therapy. And what do your hormones do? This is like basic biology, but I guess, but American public schools are shit. So I guess I can understand why people don't understand basic biology. Your hormones control pretty much almost everything about your physiology, from the moisture of your skin to the density of your muscles. So when you have more testosterone, your muscles are more dense. When you have more estrogen, your muscles are not as dense. So when you go through hormone replacement therapy, there is a change in the structure of your muscles. Your bones don't change, but your body does. So this is why when trans men transition to women and they go through hormone replacement therapy, um, their genitalia changes, and they eventually do have to get the surgery to replace genitalia, but the penis does retract a little bit, the scrotum retracts a little bit, and the opposite happens for women who transition to men when they go through hormone replacement. The clitoris enlarges because guess what? We're all like female when we're zygotes or whatever. So when trans people go through hormone replacement therapy, their metabolism changes, their physiology changes. So this idea that like somebody like Leah Thomas is still a man physiologically, it's not true. It is scientifically not true. It has also been proven by, I think, a recent study that there is no physiological advantage that trans women athletes have over other women. And let's just look at the reality, real life. Are trans athletes out here winning all the things in all the things? No, they're not. There are a handful of trans athletes who are, they're competing, and they're not blowing the field out because they're biologically superior, because they're still men. That's not happening. And on top of that, we're talking about a very small percentage of the population. People are this upset about this few people just wanting to live their lives and be so. I, I and to but to Megan's point, but to go back to Megan's point, the very same people who are upset about trans women in particular, because I don't hear all this hate for trans men doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole lot of hate for trans women. I don't hear this kind of hate for trans men doing nothing. But this hyper focus on, oh my God, we have to protect women and girls in sports. Y'all didn't care about women and girls not getting the same equipment in college, in sports leagues. Y'all didn't care about women's professional athletes not getting paid the same as men. Y'all didn't care about abusive, sexually
Predators,
predatory
Larry Nasser.
doctors, coaches, and whatnot preying on female girls, and y'all didn't
Did
say
you hear
shit
about the
about.
dude that they just caught?
No, see who
They just caught this dude who was a boys, I think, soccer coach, and they caught him with like over 40 documented incidents of he would take these young boys to these soccer or something and then drug them and R them.
See, and this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and you know,
So
I,
I
I
mean, it's all men and boys in this instance, but I mean, I think
yeah,
But
I
even
mean,
to your point,
Mhm.
Jackie, the U.S. women's gymnastics team, the Olympic gymnastics team, still has a lawsuit pending against the FBI because they
mhm,
made the FBI aware that they were being assaulted by Larry Nassar, and the FBI said, "Oh, really? We'll look into it in 6 months." They didn't do shit about it.
right, right. So I mean, you know, my point is that I'm gonna ignore all of the transphobia and the ignorance in the comments
Oh
right now
no, we got some of that going on.
because
Yeah.
oh, because
Mhm.
I woke up in a good mood today and I'm gonna stay that way.
That's right.
And I'm not, y'all ain't
Stay-
gonna take me there today. But I I say this as probably one of the girliest girls that yeah, my mama was I'm sure she is surprised, like, because I'm sure she thought I was going to be a serial killer or some shit. But um
I
I
would
did
like
not
for
Your
some in the
mama
chat.
Your mom.
But seriously, for those in the chat that have again, there's a lot that can be said in disagreement. I just don't think we need all this hostility. But if
no,
you if you have data that you want to share with links and reports, please do. If you have if you disagree with the claim, I saw some of you disagreeing with that um the competition is being destroyed in girl and women's sports.
oh please.
Send the data. I mean, I have no,
Isn't it
I don't,
wild?
There
but
are
Like,
not
I
that
mean,
many trans girls in sports to be destroying the competition in sports. They're just not that.
um,
but isn't it wild? Like, do y'all
mhm.
understand that y'all are repeating? Not everybody, of course. We only have a couple roaches in here, but do you understand that y'all are repeating conservative talking points? Like, you sound, you sound like fucking DeSantis. Do you hear yourself?
um, sorry, I didn't mean to put this all over you. Yeah, anyway,
No, that's
Lauren,
okay.
obsession over hormones negatively affects cisgender women too. Many cis women athletes had their careers ruined by being forced to have gonad surgery because they naturally produce high levels of testosterone. Thanks for the super
Pastor
chat.
Semenya,
That's wow.
Pastor
Thank
Semenya,
you,
the distance
Pastor.
runner in South Africa has
Mm.
routinely been barred from competing because allegedly her hormone levels don't line up with that of a quote regular woman. It's like y'all motherfuckers have no concept of physiology and biology, but it is women specifically that bear the brunt of this. And when it comes to what Megan Rapinoe said, I agree with her, and even beyond people feeling as though the women and girls competition, sports competition, is being diluted or compromised by the inclusion of trans athletes. Most of these laws, let's be clear, like trans people are being targeted by the state with laws that is trying to regulate the way that they receive health care, trying to regulate the way children can be examined by non-medical professionals. You guys, in Ohio, they passed the law. It's law now. If a parent or another adult even thinks that a child is competing in a sport not aligned with the gender, the coach, uh, uh, any random adult, I'm not sure if that's legally in the law, but somebody that is not a medical professional can check the child's genitals. Is that what we want? Like, we want to bar children from playing sports. Like, that is the bottom line of this, the foundation of not the foundation, but one of the foundations of this. Like, at the end of the day, you are trying to impede the joy of children, kids, kids, saying the kids can't play sports in school, which is preposterous. And we as marginalized people need to be afraid of this, y'all. Like, if you think that they coming for the trans people and they stopping there, shit.
Jean, thanks for or Jean. Sorry, let me just
Sorry.
read that before we move on. Gender division in sports is a political and historical phenomenon, not natural. Thank you for the super chat. Anyway, sorry, Jackie, you wanted to pull
No.
something up.
No, that's okay. I do have to address this. You can't be offended, Anthony, that you think Kim is calling you out of your name when you misgendered Leah Thomas in your comment. So it doesn't feel good when you think somebody's calling you out your name, but it's okay for you to misgender Leah Thomas because of your opinion about who she is. It ain't that much fun when a rabbit got the gun, is it?
And Rick, this conversation is not ignoring women having their sports ruined. It's taking that claim directly head on and saying it's false. So it's not ignoring it, it's saying it's false. If you have documented or data that supports your claim that women are having their sports ruined by trans women participating, share the data. I'm here for it. I'm not afraid of anybody's argument. But let's keep it. But support it. You called us crazy. What is your data to support your argument that we're crazy? Now there is a point that I do want to raise. Thank you for joining, Michael Ferguson. That I've raised before when it came to Chappelle and was not received well, but I still feel this way. I am only basing this on that initial comic, that set of routines on Netflix that came out a year, whatever. And I stand on this point that I think there is that part of the condemnation of Chappelle, if not all of it, for him is based more, at least, maybe not all. I don't know. I don't know how to quantify it, but a good amount of the critique that Chappelle is getting is because he was offering a race first analysis, and people don't want a race first analysis. And his initial critique was, if a rich white man can change his gender and then become part of the oppressed community, we have some flaws in how we're defining oppression. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just so yes, Chappelle he did use the turf language. He used some inappropriate language, but I think in the context of his whole routine and the initial point he was making, to just dismiss him or put him in the category again for that, I don't know what he has said since. That to me seems inappropriate and does not address at least part of what I understood to be his primary concern, that while Black people continue to suffer, while Black people continue to be exploited, those conditions feel at times to be marginalized and set aside, as people would prefer to talk about white people, whether they're trans, LGBT, or anything else. And that to me, I don't know exactly how to work that in, but that's how I feel, at least. So I don't have certainly the issues some in the chat have with who participates in what. And I've actually, before all this, years ago, before I knew anything about the trans community or issues, I had been saying for a long time that if there is a woman that wants to and can physically withstand playing American football, go get it. And especially when I was a fan of the Washington football team, I was like, if she can help the team, God damn it. Get out there.
Even at the public school level, I can think of two girls. One girl who went to Laurel High School, another girl who went to my high school, who played junior varsity football. I can think of a couple of girls that were on the boys wrestling team. And you know what the big fear of those girls is that the boys was going to fuck them up just for being a woman or a female out on the field, who had the audacity to think she could step out on the football field and play with boys and men. And they were trying, I won't say trying, but there was some anticipation that these girls would be dealt with, or played very physically with or against them. So, I mean, we have women and girls so-called playing men's sports, and I don't see this furor. I don't see this furor.
And let me also say, let me remind folks, I was looking for the picture. I can't find it right now because it's buried down in, but I was a competition powerlifter, and I could outlift a lot of men. I could not outlift men who were bigger than me, who literally weighed more than me, because they just had more muscle than I did. But men who who weighed less than me or weighed my same, yeah, I outlifted them. I had a 320 max deadlift.
Damn.
Jackie.
200 max bench press, could rep it for 5. And that was in training. I never
What?
actually won with those
No
because I never
disrespect,
had
Jackie,
to.
but if you're repping five at 200, your max is more than 200.
Exactly. My
Just
max
putting
is
that. Just
250 in the bench
yeah, I was
press.
gonna
So
say. I was gonna say. Yeah.
so I don't understand what is wrong with y'all. I just
By the way, Bilal, you're right, but that's a false argument. So I can't both be right and have a false argument. So but but you said because trans theorists and revolutionaries frequently center the struggle of African and indigenous trans folks because they use a material analysis. That may be true, but you would also have to agree that those trans theorists and revolutionaries are not part of the mainstream conversation. And that's the point I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Rapinos of the world. I'm talking about them. I'm not talking that mainstream conversation is not involving class and the struggles of African indigenous people. I don't see it. And that wasn't the backlash that I saw coming to Chappelle. It wasn't from that basis. So if that was if revolutionaries are critical of Chappelle, by all means, have at it. Jackie had a strong class analysis against Chappelle, even at a time where I was defending him more than I do now, and have at it. But just to be clear, I'm not talking about the radicals, theorists, and revolutionaries. I'm talking about the what I see as the mainstream zeitgeist response. But anyway.
yeah.
I mean, ultimately, all this anti-trans sentiment is literally harming people. It's literally killing people. These kids and young folks are more likely to be unhoused. They are more likely to suffer from mental health crisis. They are more likely to attempt and try to take their own lives. Like, I mean, this is a life or death issue. Like, and it can't be so simplified down as I just don't agree. Because basically what you're saying is you don't agree to their right to exist. And why, if you get to exist in your body the way that you want to, or as much as you're able to, as much as the state allows you to, why would you not want that for somebody else? Like it's just baffling to me. It's like I feel like some folks are, only want liberation and revolution for a very specific group of folks. And it's like, if your revolution is not all inclusive, then what the fuck is it?
It's not. It's very selective. It's very, very selective. And if it's selective, if only certain people are deserving of human rights, according to you, who are people who are denied human rights every day in this piece. If you feel like you have the right to deny other people human rights, then what how do you think you're getting yours? I just, that blows my mind. And just the point, the point I was making with the powerlifting reference, if I had gone to college, they would have regularly tested me for HRT, for using hormone replacement therapy, because someone my height shouldn't have been lifting that much. If I tried to compete professionally in a raw league, because there are leagues where they don't test you at all. But they test you all the time. In the raw leagues we competed, they test you all the time, and the tests are random. You could not be tested. I didn't get tested for like 2 years. And then the third year I was competing, I got tested at every damn competition. Wow. Because my weights went up, because I started moving more weight.
I'd have been trying to get rid of you too, Jackie. You too damn strong. That's ridiculous. I'd have been like, this is ridiculous. Get her out of here.
Ass up out of here, man.
You know what I'm saying?
There were absolutely men in there who were about my height, weighed less than me, who I absolutely outbenched. Does that mean that I'm a threat to men's sports? No, baby, I'm a power lifter, and I was just good at what I did. He just
shut down the whole sport.
The
whole sport is over.
Good grief!
Because apparently there are no more women's sports, according to some in the chat. But check this.
Wow.
But just real quick, for those, to Jackie's point, we're about to take a quick break and then we expand the circle here in a second. But to Jackie's point about, or I think both of you made this point about the conservative politics you're representing. This is where y'all are headed, by the way. I just
Ooh.
want to let you know this is where y'all are headed.
Tell
This is where that analysis gets us. Okay, so if we can't step up the game, you're going to be on a flyer with David Duke talking about you'd rather work with him than LGBTQ Africans. So I just want to if that's what you want, if I mean it's anyway.
Bars. I mean, find the lie. Where's the lie? Like, what? Do the folks who are opposing trans rights, are y'all gonna show up to the library when the drag performers are reading to the kids with the Proud Boys? You understand? Like, this is who your politics is aligning with on this issue. You want to be down with the Oath Keepers? Like, what the fuck are y'all really saying?
And this kind of stuff right here is just not true. How you gonna come in here and just flat out lie?
Where's the link? Thomas, send the link.
When I just saw this whole ass Black woman who is a whole deadlift damn near 900 pounds. Get the hell out of. Oh, see, I told y'all I won't gonna let you upset me today.
Jackie, break that up.
So look, we're gonna take an ear doctor break, and then we're gonna come back with more Remix Morning Show, expand the circle, and we're gonna save the chat. So
oh shit, from themselves.
Back here in a second. Don't go anywhere. Peace, everybody.
Yeah. Welcome out to no other than the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Please make sure y'all hit that like button. If all my new people just getting in here, hit that subscribe button and go ahead and like it, share it, and put it out to the world so everybody can know this is no other than the Remix Morning Show, and y'all watch the best morning show on the planet. God, let me get it started. All right, so what we want to do right now is we want to do a artist spotlight. As I said, we are celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Who we gonna talk about today? No other than a rap group out of ATL, GA. That's right. Another Bad Creation. Another Bad Creation. Let me talk about them real quick. All right. Also known as ABC, they are a hip hop New Jack Swing group, like I said, out of ATL in the 90s. They was discovered by Michael Bivins of New Edition, or also known as Belle Biv DeVoe. You got Ronro, you got Chris, you got Red, Mark, GA, different people that's in the group. I'm just a bunch of these kids. I mean, come on. So they had their debut album, Coolin' at the Playground. It came out in 1991. It had that, and it had Aisha and Playground. This was two singles that anybody that knows this group, they know these two songs because pretty much nobody else listened to anything else they did. But they did do a remake of Jealous Girl. And anyway, the album reached number 7 on the Billboard, and eventually it went platinum. Can you believe that? They also appeared in Michael Jackson's video Black or White, and also Robert Townsend's movie Meteor Man, where all the kids dyed their hair blonde and got a part in the movie. So yeah, they did their thing with them. They did In Living Color, the sketch comedy with Keenan Ivory Wayans. He introduced them to the world also with that. So they also did a second album, It Ain't What You Wear, It's How You Play It, which came out in 1993. Like I said, nobody was feeling that or hearing them after that. So you can almost call them one album wonder. They got at least 2 songs you do know of. So that's what it is. 2 albums. No other than Another Bad Creation, straight out of ATL. All right, with that said, that is your artist spotlight for the day. Let's get back to the crew. You know how we do. All right.
Go Red. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you, Ear Doctor. Another Bad Creation. I was killing them at the middle school dance, rocking to Aisha in 91. And let me tell you guys, I am so appreciative to be born when I was, because we had so many, I guess, boy bands. I don't know how else to say it. We had Another Bad Creation. There were The Boys, and then there was, I guess, New Edition, and maybe New Kids on the Block to a lesser extent. But I had that cassette. Fellas, the jealous girl in our town at the playground. Everybody playground. Oh my goodness. Yes. And it was beef. because crisscross jump
Yep.
was a diss record against another bad
Yep.
creation. Because inside out is wiggity 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 whack. Because
Yep.
ABC used to wear their clothes inside out. And then
Yep.
crisscross wear their clothes backwards. It was hard
Backwards.
in middle school. I was trying to explain to my mother, Mama, I need the big guest jumper so I can wear it backwards. So I can
Oh,
wear
wow.
it backwards, Mama. I need a big guest jumper. Please. Yes, thank you.
Well, I got just to bring to the stage now another bad creation. It's Netfa Freeman.
Yo. Peace,
What's
peace.
up,
Hey.
Netfa?
Good morning, y'all. Another
It's
bad
like
creation.
coal out my eye.
You
Yeah, I'm
another bad
sorry.
creation. You a bad creation, my man. You were a bad creation of the revolution, my man.
Bad mother for you.
Thank you.
You a bad mother. Watch your mouth. Just talk about Netfa.
You take your ginseng this morning, yo.
Let me. I don't want to remain.
I know. That's why I'm back to get on them people that was on me. I went back and I read the chat. They was on me.
Chat ruthless in these streets, Nefa.
No,
Chat
it was good.
ruthless.
I thought it was endearing. No, I mean it wasn't bad. I didn't take it personal, and he was joking. You know, people joking with you. I open myself up for it when I let people know about my mom telling me that I don't finish my sentences. Then it just opened a whole new thing. And then I think of Toby, our comrade Toby from Paco. I always thought that Nefa didn't finish his sentences. Now I know his mom tell him that too. I'm like, all right now, come on, y'all.
See, that's why it's difficult to be self-deprecating in these YouTube shit. People
I
just run with
know.
it. They go too far.
Ooh.
They go too
Never
far
let
with
go.
it. That's why everybody overdoes it the other way. We got all this overdoing it braggadocio on YouTube. Everybody trying to
I know.
overcompensate.
I need to get on that.
I'm the greatest.
That's right.
You get knocked down to just being dope. Anyway,
Y'all
Kim, you
fine.
were going to say something. You wanted to keep it going. Yeah. Go
Well,
ahead.
no, I did not want to keep it going, to be honest,
Oh.
but I did. I wanted to ask you one question because, you have daughters that participate in girls' sports. Have you seen any trans girls athletes taking over?
And
the
it's
soccer field
ruined
in
it.
Howard County.
Our girls can't have no fun nowhere. It's just trans girls taking over everything.
Jumping out the bushes. Just
They ruined the soccer leagues. My daughter's ballet class, she can't dance, can't get no parts and plays. They just walk around head down crying all day long about how every opportunity that used to exist is honestly, no. I mean, we're, I don't know, 10 plus years into their athletic careers. And there's been, to my knowledge, there's been no trans involvement of any kind. So
That's all I wanted to know.
I don't know.
Mhm.
But again, per the chat, those sports don't even exist anymore. So my daughters don't even have, there's no more sport left. So,
As girls and women's sports gains more and more prominence, I think, what was it? The NCAA women's finals and the Final Four was the highest rated, of its day, right? So women's and girls sports are gaining more prominence and more popularity, and ergo becoming more profitable. But the trans girls and women are fucking it all up.
Now, to be perfectly fair, though, there has been, I wouldn't say a lot, but from time to time at these tournaments, there's been some raised eyebrows about the particular age and size, not necessarily associated with a trans, involvement, inclusion, but like, I've looked at a couple of these girls on the other team a couple of times and been like, son, we got some birth certificates out here, I mean,
she
That
going to
happens
prom
in
this
boys'
year? What is
and
going on?
and sometimes you can't. I mean, there is that visceral reaction as a parent when you see some other child on an opposing team physically, blow past your child or whatever. You had that moment like, hold up, you can't. No way possible that your child can be that faster than my child or that stronger than my child. So therefore, there must be something untoward happening around here. But other than that, honestly, there's been, once or twice maybe somebody has said, a parent on the sideline, we've been like, hold up. That's a big ass goalkeeper right there. How the hell, but other than that, but not associated with, the trans and the, anyway, I don't know.
Yours is like that Boondocks episode where I don't know if you remember the Boondocks episode where they put this team together and it was some team that came from Asia and somebody was like this grown man and anyway.
Well, I mean, there is that. I mean, we've seen it with Little League Baseball for sure. That all black team, they went out, the white parents snitched and found all this, they were like, and I know that's what it was. They were like, these come around here beating like this all black team just ran through everybody. But to be fair, sure enough, they found some, a couple birth certificates was a little bit,
Maybe some
people might not have
alterations.
lived where they were supposed to live, you know what I'm saying? It was like a couple, but I was like, white folks got, I mean, their initial cheat game is so strong. Like,
long and strong.
If we got to adjust the border a little bit, you gerrymandered all the voting. Why can't we gerrymander a baseball team? But anyway, But no, Kim, to your point, no, my daughters have been able to have a wonderful, knock on wood, because I don't know, the fall's coming, got another tryout in next month, maybe, it'll be a whole bunch of trans women take it over.
Oh shit.
I don't know. So stay tuned, everybody,
Yeah.
Anyway, anybody got anything they want to get to? Netfa, did you want to talk? You want to start off talk a little bit about the event you all hosted last night? The USADA,
and Jackie was on there. So I was preoccupied a little bit. So I do want to. It was fire. I thought it was really good and lively. One of the more lively ones. It was well attended. We are increasing the in-person attendance because that's something we need to get back in person. Everybody's still trying to make revolution online. Not everybody, but still, we also increased the online too. The virtual attendance was good, but the discussion is what's important, and then the topic was the role of the Black Miss Leadership class. So we got some comrades in PACA who have become very adept at creating these very informative, interactive presentations and get into multimedia. We say they have like clips of this one had Glenn Ford describing, Miss Leadership class, because that's where I first heard it was Glenn and Bruce and all them, and then so there was something that they had with him breaking it down and just clips of any different things demonstrating that Malcolm X and so, and then that one, Jackie, you can remember the sister was from in Atlanta, and she was at were you there? You were on the thing. That's right. You didn't make it.
Stop reminding me.
My goodness. Sorry. Oh man, this is bad. That I should remember. She was breaking down Cop City. And I think she was a reverend. She had a collar on. Everybody knows her name, but me, I don't.
Kiana Jones?
I should remember
Kiana Jones?
Because she was on with us too. She's been here.
Man,
too, so.
But
y'all didn't play that. Y'all played the Status Quo clip. I was over there hating. I got some hate for the joint last night, and that was one of them.
You
I was
were
like, they playing this. I was in the chat. And and I said, they playing the Status Quo. She was on our show. They ain't play that though. I'm like, shameful.
I mean, I love Kiana Jones. Like the clip, I'm not sure what Status Quo clip you're talking about, but when they ran up on Mayor Dickens recently, and I think it was a cop tried to put hands on Kiana, Reverend Jones said, "Bitch, you better back up." I said, "That's my pastor. That's my pastor right there."
And to be fair,
Satan.
And to be fair, as people noted in the chat last night, I mean, I'm hating, but the woman who was doing the interview for Status Quo it was a great interview. I mean, she did a great job. So it was she had all the information needed to lay out the question properly and all of that. So it was dope.
Man, that was a good clip. That was the highlight of my thing. I was a little preoccupied doing some kind of tech background stuff, but I liked the conversation. It was pretty lively. It was good.
as a bias, I admit, I for whatever my personal issue was, like for me, the highlight was still seeing Glenn. It's remarkable to be like his analysis was just so clear. And his delivery, I mean, you talk about radio, you talk about, I mean, he had everything with it. And then we were even reminded in the chat that he and Bruce ended up disagreeing over the Miss Leadership class thing. And I went back and read his response to Bruce, where he and Glenn was a thug with the pen, man.
I know, yeah.
And he dragged Bruce. He was like, "That's my comrade," but he was like, he dragged him all through. He was like,
I was like, oh,
Bruce
no.
may have forgotten his own shit, but I didn't forget. Like it was, so it was the whole thing was dope though. It was dope.
I didn't even know you was on this. See, I missed that one.
I got one. So let me do my petty thing real quick. Let me just get this. I can't help it. It's been on my mind ever since I saw it last night. And I was asking about it because they also referenced Danny Haifong and something he wrote in 2018. And I know that's a lot of your people out here, but I am very disturbed. I got a problem with a couple things. One, and I'm curious how, check me. I'm happy to be checked. Dude becomes a primary spokesperson for Black Agenda Report in all these white media outlets. His name is initially associated with all this Black Agenda Report. He blows up his YouTube channel, hundreds of thousands of views. And other than an occasional visit of Margaret or maybe Garland Nixon, it ain't no Black Agenda on the joint. And he would be quick to reach out to me and others. Can I get on? Can you read my report? Can I get a blurb for this? Can you help me promote that? And then I don't see the reciprocity. So when I saw him getting cited on a joint last night, I was like, it just took me out the moment. I just couldn't help it. I was like, anyway. And that's why I asked in the chat, when did he write that article? And it was in 2018, and ain't nothing from Barr with him since 2021. And I don't see Barr on his new blown up YouTube channel. So I'm just like, if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong. Hold it up to my being petty. But I just feel like, because for a minute there, I know Glenn was getting older and maybe, Bruce had passed on and Danny had taken on this, he was everywhere repping Black Agenda Report. And then I see his YouTube channel and it's huge. It's, I mean, I'm like,
it is pretty huge.
Where they at? I don't see none of these folks around there. Anyway, I'll leave it there. The teaching thing, the study. The Asada Shakur study group was dope. I mean, and it was it was fantastic. So I don't mean to. I didn't even want to bring it up last night in the chat. But here,
it's all good. You hear this? This your playpen, huh?
I'm gonna say that's
just kidding.
I'm gonna say that's if. I know that Danny does. I think he does Black Agenda Radio with Margaret, or at least he has. And look, I think
he's an ally, no doubt. I hear. My bad. Go ahead. Sorry,
I think he has some good insight on China. I don't think we could ever have enough insight on China. I'm trying not to make this a thing. We all have our lanes to be in. And I don't know, I have a pretty good relationship with Danny. He's been on By Any Means Necessary quite a bit. But if there's some conflict there, I think that's a Black Agenda Report thing and I don't know what that is. I just that's just something I've never thought about because I've had a pretty good relationship with Danny, but I also just have to not do a whole lot of other, because people are always asking me, Jackie, come on my show. It's like, yo, I cannot, because I need to sleep and to eat, and I can't, So I
get it, I apologize for testing the because I get it. He's a comrade of folks and he's an ally, and I'm not criticizing his analysis. He's sharp. I mean, and that was part of my point. I used to invite him on too. So but I did notice. I'm like, man, I was like, hundreds of thousands of views. Anyway, so that's it. That's my piece. I got my petty out. It's all good. What do y'all want to do next? We got 30 minutes left. Nefra, did you want to do anything in particular? Go ahead.
Well, I thought so. I don't. This sounds petty, but I don't. Wanted to. There was a few points that I didn't get to make last night, and I went through the chat because I can't read it when I'm on the thing.
Get him,
so
Nefra.
no, it's not really like that because I think
night.
it was over. It was over. I mean, because I don't think it was anything. It was nothing disparaging, and I don't think anybody disagreed. In fact, people had good questions that I couldn't. I heard people say answer this, but I didn't know that they were being asked until I went back, and so there was that, and then just a couple points about the conversation we had about the. It was basically about the defund and abolish, and then one of the reasons I wanted to explain because I was in the chat too before I came on. And so I made a comment that said defund something. I don't remember exactly. Defund and abolish are by default reformists or something like that I said reformism. I just wanted to explain what I meant by that. And is that if we're seeing them as demands, right? And so we have to, or demands or something we're calling for, whatever. And so when we think about those things, we have to think about who that's directed to. And so a default or reform is either a demand, appeal, or request for those who are in power to either defund and default. Because I think we made that clear that they're not going to do those kind of things. It doesn't shift power. So we have to think about power shifting demands that may seem reformist. They might be a reform, but they're not reformist. So community control of police is not really something you asking the rulers and our enemies to do. So we want to be clear that not to confuse our enemies with forces or individuals who can be convinced to liberate us or do the right thing. Sometimes not even pressured because as their very existence means the antithesis to us, there's some things they're not going to do. And that's the police things is one of them. Community control of the police is not really a demand on the thing. It's not a demand at all. It's a demand, but it's one to set a strategy. And it's more a call for the people to organize. For us to control anything, we got to be organized. And then we put that out there as a demand. But then we're not even going a route of asking city council to pass it or nothing like that. We're engaging in a campaign. Then it involves galvanizing the people. And that's why we put it out there. So any kind of community control, even the community control of public safety. So defunding or when abolishing, they're not going to do, but defunding leave us open to them just playing with the budget, which we see them do. You do this right here and there, and then it also they're not going to take money, and even if they do it, create their own, give it to their own agencies. That a lot of them are wholly inadequate anyway, even if they're for social services. So we want to. What I meant by default, essentially reformist, is because it's not seeing revolution as the solution. It's deferring to those in power. It's leveling influence of those in power to do the right thing. To me, that's kind of a central definition of reform. Whereas revolution is about taking power from them. Seeing our enemies as not people who can be dealt with, but enemies are to be defeated. That's what an enemy is. And so we have to think in that term. And so it's not abdicating power for them. And then, yeah, and I said that, and that's basically it. But some of the stuff in the chat, somebody said about, and I think it was Hiram. This was a very good question about community control and gentrification, particularly in DC, which is really, being fast gentrified. And we've come across this question a lot and don't really have a good answer. I mean, or a sufficient answer, not a good answer. But generally, again, we're talking about organizing our people, the most disfranchised, adversely impacted. If we're able to create situations where people are forced to come together and deliberate and debate, people in a community, not forced, but created a situation where they're coming together and the people are being organized, those who are oppressed. That's a better situation, even under gentrification situation where people are increasingly moved out and displaced, and other classes and races are being moved in. It's a better situation for them to be even put in venues to struggle with those people who are displacing them than to just be out here and at the complete mercy of the process of gentrification. So in that sense, still, community control of the police is something we're trying to bring our people together. That would be the best answer. One was, what does Netflix think about? And I hope I got all of them because it was a lot of stuff in there. And I had to refine the chat because you can't really find one of the. I mean, it's hard to find after the thing is over. What does Netflix think about Daruba saying abolishing police unions? And we talked about them. I mean, Daruba's mentioned the Topaka a lot and everything. And it's definitely a valid. What he's raising is again a strategy and a campaign. I haven't heard Daruba raise it as we need to abolish the police unions, making a declaration like that. We definitely need to abolish the whole state. Really, I mean, that's and so it's not. So what Daruba's raising again is another angle of which how that we waging this war. So, and I wholly agree with it. We haven't been able to say we're going to incorporate that into what we're doing right now because it's really only a question
that's just
of capacity.
Daruba being liberal again, man. Come on now.
No, but it's real. It's
liberal.
how the police unions are very instrumental in how the police protect themselves and the whole court issues and them raising money and all that. And as he also says, they're not workers, and that's another thing. The fact that they have unions, clouds the issue that they're not workers. Any institution that is charged with actually breaking up. At the end of the day,
they're
when
armed
workers organize,
of the state.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when we organize against capitalism to not be exploited, for having in a situation where we sell our labor, is the police to come up and deal with the workers. That's how the earliest police, private security formed, was to break up strikes and things. So you can't be both workers and be institutions that are charged with that. So that's true. And a campaign that Daruba is suggesting would expose that contradiction.
Well, there go the liberal himself, Daruba. What's up, Daruba? The strategy of community control of the police and decentralization of police is aimed primarily at disrupting the command and political control of armed agents of the state. Police, not reform. So
it is.
Thank you, Daruba, for spreading that liberal.
That's in the chat.
Yeah, Daruba's in the chat. His liberal self, his liberal self, strolled into this liberal chat.
Yep. And we did talk about police unions in our the interview we did this past not this past Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, Jared, with Daruba.
That's right.
And yeah, we talked about that. He talked about that extensively, so y'all should check that out. Because he really raised a really great point about using the courts to go after the police unions as a tactic, understanding that that's not going to abolish the police unions, but it is a campaign strategy to raise the issue of what their role really is, to educate the masses on what the police unions really are and how they're not workers and how those are the only employees that belong to a union that have more rights than any other workers union and are protected by the courts. So yeah, that was really great stuff.
And again, that last part of what he just wrote, disrupt the activity. So it's to raise a contradiction, but it also can throw monkey wrench in a lot of ways if we would be able to implement this, and injunctions, all kind of stuff, their activities, so just doing it that way, even if we, and then the other things, I think that's
just quickly while you just as you gather a couple thoughts real quick. Let me just thank you for the super chat, Jean or Jean. What difference does slavery being illegal in half of the country make in constituting the historical organizing capacities of the slave abolition movement versus the prison abolition movement?
What difference does slavery being illegal?
What difference does slavery being illegal in half of the country make in constituting the historical organizing capacities of the slave abolition movement versus the prison abolitionist movement? I'm
unclear on that.
Might be unclear myself, so please feel free to follow up. But thank you for the
question there. Tough essay question there. How long do you have to complete the essay?
I haven't had enough coffee, but
we got 20 minutes. Can I raise an incident that happened in DC yesterday, especially with the Washingtonians present?
Oh yeah.
And it's more so of an observation. I want to get y'all's thoughts. I mean, I pretty much can all deduce what you guys are going to say, but it's just another example of how over policing really endangers people's lives. So yesterday down at the Ellipse, 17th and Constitution. Everybody knows where that is. That's right there, 2 blocks from the White House. Secret Service police attempted to engage a traffic stop on a motorist for expired registration. The motorist, according to news reports, initially appeared as though they were going to pull over, but apparently accelerated and struck several pedestrians in the crosswalk, injuring a couple of them, killing one, a 75-year-old man reported to be from the Philadelphia area. And the driver got away. And it put me in the mind frame of what kind of what Netflix was talking about when it comes to reformist policies regarding the police, where I know in Montgomery County, Maryland, it's been proposed that police cannot start traffic stops on people for things like expired registration, expired tags, something dangling from your rear view, a burnout headlight, tail light, whatever. And some police agencies, or rather some cities, have implemented this, but much to the pushback of cops. The cops say, well, if we can't pull people over for expired registration, we don't want to be police no more. It's not fun no more. Like if we can't just fuck with people and pull them out the car, you know what I'm saying, for a burned out tail, like we don't want to be police no more. And in Pennsylvania, pardon me, in Pittsburgh, rather, the city council actually did enact something to that effect, where police could not engage in traffic stops just for those reasons. There had to be an additional reason to affect a traffic stop beyond some, administrative expiration or something visible on the car. But when I heard about the story yesterday in downtown DC, all it put me in the mind of was, this is how over policing helps to kill members of the community, because just being stopped by the police for a lot of people is a triggering traumatic response. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what people's experiences have been for the police and with the police, and they don't know whether or not the police is going to kill them or simply cite them, right? That is kind of where we are when it comes to dealing with the cops. So whereas this motorist, rightfully so, is being given some blame, the proper blame for striking and killing a pedestrian, I blame the police for affecting what it caused a bullshit traffic stop that freaked somebody out, or for whatever reason, and ended up taking the life of this person. But also, anecdotally, what the fuck is the Secret Service doing pulling over motorists for expired registration? Another example how this city in particular is over policed. There's so many police agencies in DC that Joe Biden's security detail ain't got shit else better to do than try to pull over people who have expired registration.
Kim, you missing the point though. So suppose they had gotten away and they didn't pull them over and found out that they were a terrorist or something.
Suppose in that car with the expired registration there was C4 and fertilizer and all kinds of, you don't know the first of all, I can't remember now how many different law enforcement agencies have jurisdiction over all of DC. So any particular law enforcement agency can snatch you up anywhere in DC, just about. And I think they all have at least arrest or detain authority if they don't have arrest authority, and they are all cooperating with MPD. That's one issue. The second issue is, why is any law enforcement entity pulling anybody over for an expired registration? The Department of Motor Vehicles knows whose registration is expired. And when you see that vehicle out on the streets with the expired registration, you know what you do? You send them mugs a ticket. There are not any real reasons for any law enforcement entity to engage people physically for, busted out tail lights, or, the expired registration, unless these law enforcement agencies have a quota system that they have to fulfill. And some of these people just really like messing with us. They just do. They see us as, they are the occupying force in our communities. They see us as enemy combatants, and they realize that their role is to control and contain us. And in order to do that, they terrorize us every day. And they are conscious of of this. So this is why these kinds of stories, they don't surprise me. They make me angry, of course, but they're not surprising, because when we understand that this is the role of law enforcement in our communities, of course these things continue to happen. And nobody's going to be held accountable for anything.
No. I mean, they are the ones that put the public in safety yesterday. The driver piddling around downtown with his registration expired didn't seem to be causing anybody any harm before he got lit up by the Secret Service. And Netfa, I thought you was about to school me when you said I had the shit all wrong. I'm sitting here waiting for my lesson, and then here you go with the C4 in the car. I said, oh.
The article I pulled up, the Independent article, ends with reference to the recent van being found trying to get into the White House or something with the Nazi flag in it or something like that. So even the story suggests that there's some justification for concern. But
you know what story never gets referenced anymore? Because it was the Secret Service and the U.S. Capitol Police that shot and killed Miriam Carey on the streets of Washington, D.C. when she allegedly knocked her, again, all bullshit, allegedly knocked over a bike rack in proximity to the White House. She was trying to leave the scene. They opened fire on her on the public street. They shot her in the head 2 times with her infant daughter in the back seat. Secret Service did that. Nobody was held accountable.
And to the point that Nabi raises by asking where were they on January 6th, obviously they
in the
weren't.
Crowd.
That part they were in the crowd, but also they weren't looking to assault women with babies or people with expired registration. So in other words, if you show up with a mob and weaponry and anger and your friends from the force in the group, you could probably get away with everything. Anyway. I got your tweet pulled up. Did you send that, Net, for? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Just an announcement for the end. Same thing I said yesterday.
Oh, okay. Anyway. So yeah, that's. I thought that there was supposed to be regulations about initiating a high-speed chase.
Again, and it gets so higgy-haggy within DC because that's what Metropolitan Police initiated. I don't think that applies to the federal law enforcement. You know what I mean? It's whatever. It's no rules in DC. It's what you can smoke weed on the street though. You fine doing that, but
you can apparently do cocaine in the White House too.
Right.
I mean, at first I attributed that to.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Jared.
I was just going to say, if you're part of the Secret Service overseas, you can engage in sex work too. So like they do all types of stuff, like to be chasing somebody down for expired tags. I mean, good God. Good God.
Yeah, I attributed I falsely attributed the cocaine in the White House to Volodymyr Zelensky until I found out that Hunter Biden is living with his daddy and his mama in the White House. So there you go.
No,
everybody know who coke that was. I mean, that shit ain't no mystery.
It was the trans girls ruining women's sports.
Everybody know Hunter Biden loved to go skiing. Everybody know that. Come on, everybody know who coke that was.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to nobody, but it is a hell of a drug. And trust, if I had a stash, don't think going through some little White House security was going to stop me either. I'd have been like, this is too much right here. I'm going to have to make this going to get to my locker, goddamn it. Because, anyway. Who is that? I keep not seeing the name. Elliot Abrams. Do we have an Elliot Abrams clip?
I thought I sent you one.
Who said that? Did you send me one?
Can you hear me?
Oh,
yeah.
now it's in the email.
Up,
dang, I got it.
We can hear you.
Oh,
we hear you. I don't have a clip from. I don't have an email
it
from you though.
Like
okay,
here we go.
Oh,
why is it?
Y'all know what time it is.
Like
y'all know
y'all doing.
Like breaking up.
The Secret Service.
Y'all know who playing games over here with everybody's Wi-Fi. Everybody's like, I don't know why my Wi-Fi not working.
I wish the trans community would let our Wi-Fi work though. I don't know why they. I mean, damn. Anyway, I got it. Here we go. Okay, Nefa, here we go. I got it. Here we go. Let's. Do you want to set this up at all, or does
this
it speak
is 2011, from what I understand? Well, Not quite.
Yeah,
Maybe
2011.
does
Elliot
it say anything?
Abrams.
What does it say at the top there?
President Biden just nominated infamous
Yeah.
war criminal Elliot Abrams. And this is from Breakthrough News,
Right.
by the way, the good folks over there.
Right.
To be a U.S. advisor on public diplomacy. In this 2011 speech, Abrams boasts of his time inside the Reagan administration, waging wars of aggression all over the world. And he does look like a central casting criminal. But anyway, here we go.
In 1983, the United States invaded Grenada, unseated the leftist government. In Nicaragua, he backed the so-called Contras,
That's right.
the anti-Sandinista rebels, in a civil war that tied their hands. Next door was El Salvador, where it really looked like another communist victory was imminent. When I entered the Reagan administration in 1980, Nicaragua had been lost. Our main concern at that moment was, are we going to lose another domino? Is El Salvador going to go under communist control? So Reagan organized aid for the Salvadoran military and the Christian Democratic Party, stopped the communist rebels, the FMLN. In Afghanistan, he supplied anti-Soviet rebels with arms. And in the end, the Russians suffered 15,000 killed. And near the heart of the Soviet Empire was Poland. Reagan acted to help the Solidarity movement survive and ultimately prevail. Reagan began the secret funding of Solidarity, working with the AFL-CIO under George Meany, working with the Vatican under a Polish pope. So Reagan used American power and influence to stop the Soviet juggernaut. Reagan used intelligence assets when he could, CIA. He strengthened our broadcasting, Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, used that. He used proxy forces like the Nicaraguan Contras whenever possible, rather than American soldiers. But the outcome was clear. In sheer military terms, he turned things around.
So before you all, I just want to play one quick follow-up before, if we could get just for important context, please, just quickly.
Excuse me, everyone, I have a brief announcement to make. Jesus was black, Ronald Reagan was the devil, and the government is lying about 9/11. Thank you for your time and good night.
Just needed a little bit of balance there
Good.
after that Abrams clip. Good
Yeah,
Lord.
I love that clip. Right.
Man, how on brand is that?
Right.
That someone who would speak so glowingly about Ronald Reagan's foreign policy achievements and
Right.
in containing communism would be appointed in some capacity by Joe Biden, the best Republican president that this country has had in a long time.
I mean,
And
he is
also,
Democratic president,
the
Democratic
voice.
Party president. That's that's so.
Yeah.
I mean, these parties aren't. That's the bipartisan thing. There is imperialism and neoliberalism, capitalism, and all that. They But it's interesting how he was saying all that stuff. Like it was, if you didn't really know who was talking, you might think they was criticizing. I mean, he said it like it was okay. Like ain't nothing wrong. This is what we do. This is what we did. And he was just, But he also
And one
got
more thing. So just one more thing.
No, go
Remember,
ahead.
Ronald Reagan, and everybody say it with me, died during my wedding. So, June 5th, 2004.
That was
A
God's
beautiful
gift.
sunny day. It was
God's gift balls.
Oh boy.
So it just I brought that up because it's also, I mean, people are talking about, and it does indicate something like what you just said, Kim, about the Biden's appointing this person or nominating them, rather. Or it said that it's unclear that Biden himself nominated this person. They, whatever, but they're being put in a position to head this thing, U.S. Advisory Commission on Public Diplomacy.
Mhm.
And this whole thing, that commission is really about how effective the misinformation and the influence that the United States levels in other countries. It's really, how the co-ops and counterinsurgency of the countries operates, how effective it is. And they need somebody as shameless and, and not shameless, I don't know what you call it, shameless or unadulterated, unequivocally imperialist, U.S. imperialist, as Elliot Abrams to do it, and it says it's a sign of the times where the United States is in the world, their waning influence and their insistence on full spectrum dominance, despite the influence of China, despite the multipolarity, the China and Russia pose, and that all kinds of countries with the BRICS formations and all that, they don't want to deal with cooperation or anything. So they're insistent. I don't know if did y'all talk about, because I haven't always, they had a nuclear submarine that was docked in Guantanamo Bay between July 5th and to the 8th, and all this stuff about China and Cuba collaborating as if Cuba don't have the right to have any relationships with whoever it wants, and their illegal base, that's also turned into a torture facility on Guantanamo, on the territory of Cuba. So, but anyway, I'm saying all that to say that both the foreign policy and the domestic policy is being increasingly fascist in that sense. And it's just like the national security state and all that. I don't know if people really get how close we are to annihilation and war and whatnot on a constant basis. I think it escapes a lot of people that we're in a dangerous situation here constantly because of these crazy people, and that Biden and all of them, they coalesce because they share the same interests. U.S. settler, imperialists,
Y'all, I gotta tell y'all, last night, Jared, if you could pull
Jackie,
it up.
thank you very much, and appreciate peace to,
right,
the voice.
Yes.
Even though he,
I gotta go. Parting words. Whatever your personal opinions about anything they're absolutely irrelevant if you're not fighting for the human rights of all people. If you ain't fighting for everybody's human rights, you ain't fighting for nobody's human rights. All right, peace, y'all.
Righteous words from the prophetess before she leaves. I wish I had the link, Jared. Maybe we could talk about this tomorrow. I don't even know who's going to be here tomorrow. But last night on NBC,
nobody, because
nobody.
It's Friday. It's Earn Your Liberation. So, but
is it Friday? Today is Thursday.
Today is Thursday.
Shit. All right. Well, fuck. Maybe
if I'm in no hurry. If you want to, what's the link? I'll find it.
No,
tell me. I'll dig it up if you want.
With Netflix being here.
To
Especially to the point that Nev just made. If you could look up NBC Nightly News last night's broadcast, they did a whole thing about how the U.S. military is ready to go to war with China,
right.
and they
go to
went
war
through
with China.
Dog, I'm like, dog. If this is being shown on the NBC Nightly News, they might let the chopper sing tomorrow. You understand? Like by the time they break this out to the people, they are already locked and loaded and ready to go. Like I was terrified, honestly, looking at this piece. I'm like, oh, they ready to kick this shit off soon.
So just real quick, let me let's see. Is it somewhere in this? Does this look familiar? Is it
this would have been last night's broadcast? Yeah. So Wednesday,
it says July 12th. That's
That's
what this is. But I don't. Let's see.
Destroyed. Many still dealing with walls of water.
Can I move it ahead a little bit?
Yes, you can.
440,000 cars a day right here on.
Hold on.
That's the story that made national news last night. The pedestrian being struck at 17th and Constitution.
This doesn't let you just scroll it though.
No, it doesn't.
No.
On the side is those like little chapters or something on the right.
But those are different days. It's for each day.
Okay.
This is for
in the show description. Does it have the chapters?
They put this in YouTube, which does let you scroll it. Is it?
I mean, but you didn't send me a YouTube link though.
No, I didn't send you this.
That's what I'm saying. I know. I'm just playing with you. I'm all right.
Jared is producing on the fly here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm trying to.
He's doing his best ear doctor right now.
So okay, hold on a second. Is this part of it? Does this look familiar? Does this look like it would be part of it?
Can I hear it?
Here's Courtney.
Yep, this might be it.
Tonight, amid growing tensions with China, we're with American forces in the Pacific, where General Mike Minahan is preparing his airmen for a mission he's warned comes soon.
Do you think the U.S. could be at war with China in the next few years?
It's not me to say whether we could be
at war with China in the next few years.
Earlier this year, Minahan, the head of Air Mobility Command, wrote a controversial memo to his commanders warning the U.S. could be at war with China in 2 years and they need to be prepared.
Do you still believe that?
I don't believe conflict is inevitable. I don't believe it's unavoidable. But I also believe that ready now is what matters most.
There have already been flashpoints. This Chinese fighter jet recently buzzing an American surveillance plane, and this Chinese warship crossing dangerously close to an American ship in the South China Sea. Minahan now preparing with Exercise Mobility Guardian, 70 aircraft and more than 3,000 airmen from 7 countries, the largest readiness exercise in the command's history, including this British cargo plane dropping off U.S. equipment, then simulating a medical evacuation. Also practicing resupplying bases in remote areas.
Cargo door, acknowledged.
This mission to drop supplies to airmen establishing a base on a tiny island north of Guam.
We're directly over the drop zone right now. About a dozen aircraft are beginning to drop their supplies and aid to the troops below.
In his memo, Minahan told airmen to get ready by firing from a clip and to aim for the head.
I'm not trying to be provocative. I'm trying to provide my formation with the tools and the action and the priority necessary to win.
Do you still agree with everything you wrote in that January memo?
I agree absolutely with the urgency and the action.
Are you ready now?
We are ready now.
That assurance coming even as some critics have voiced concerns the U.S. is not modernizing equipment fast enough for a potential conflict. But Minahan telling us exercises like these are critical to being ready. Tom?
It's amazing. And they spin this stuff. It's interesting how they make it seem like they're getting ready. They're not the aggressors. They're getting ready for the aggressors. You all the way in China Sea, and you
saw, but what up, Nefa? You saw it might have been in the China Sea, but that Chinese boat was dangerously close to the U.S. ship in the China Sea, and the spy craft that the U.S. was flying over China they flew dangerously close to the U.S. spy craft. Now, come on, Nefa.
Yeah, I mean, and all people, anybody who watching this who has any doubts of any questions about the what we're saying, the position we're taking, just imagine the opposite scenario: Chinese warships off the coast of Mexico, or on the Atlantic or something like that, or in the Pacific, on the other end of the country. Come on. They freaked out over a damn little spy balloon acting ridiculous, and that wasn't even shit.
Weather balloon.
Weather balloon. Yeah, well, you're right. No, thank you for that correction. No, thank you for that correction, because they, because it wasn't no damn spy balloon. They got me saying that bullshit. And
you repeat that State Department propaganda.
Yeah.
It's infectious.
Yes. But it's real. I know that's how they work. They can bombard us with stuff, and they pose that that's not even the first story like that, because we put a clip like that on our show and had Sarah Flounders on breaking it down. And it's like they've been doing these operations and maybe stepping them up, but they've been doing this for decades in China. Provocations like this, and now the China may be like, okay, you can't just keep doing this, and they act like they're being threatened, like they're the aggressors. It's almost like people, you get near you and be like, I'm not touching you. It's like, and then get near you. And then if you do move them away, then you done started something.
Right. I've had that happen a lot of times in real life. But but what scares me about this is the timetable given, right? They're telling us 2 years,
exactly.
Right? So where we are, 2025, 2 years, right? And NBC News, and not to say that NBC is better or worse than any of these other mainstream outlets, but NBC News in particular is a very effective propaganda arm for the State Department. Right. So NBC News being given this exclusive access, to the fucking drop sites.
That was objective. That's objective reporting, Kim. Getting a ride on the jet or the plane,
Hearing this guy talk about something.
We embed to get accuracy.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I'm trying to provoke a response.
But I'm not trying to be provocative. Oh my God. Jesus help us.
Man.
Well,
but these people, man, and we got to cast a lot. And I say these people, ain't no we. That's them against us. I'm sorry. I'm the global South. We the global South, even inside the United States. We're a domestic colony. And that's who we need to be siding with. We're going to stay unequivocally. These folks are our enemy. These not folks, these forces, these elements, these institutions, these classes. They're the enemy of humanity.
That's right.
We got to start treating it like that. We got to start upping our game.
Mm.
And listen, but being in the belly of the beast, you know, especially in proximity to where we are, you know, a war with China is not going to be a war in Afghanistan. It's not going to be a war in Iraq. If we go to war with China, it's just going to be ugly.
If they go to war,
for us. If they go to war, thank you for that, Nefta. Yes, if they go to war with China, it's going to be ugly for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part where the we comes in, because we all suffer. We didn't do a goddamn thing and choose to do a damn thing. And to the point that you all were playing from the misleadership discussion last night from Glenn, when, you know, again, forgive my pettiness for making me forget my own important point that to raise, that Glenn was pointing out that it was Obama's presence that was used to trick Black people into supporting all this.
That's right.
And he was citing all those polling data that shows historically 93% of Black America is against foreign military invasion and action and all this other kind, or invading, you know, using, you know, foreign intervention, whatever. But then Obama comes in and it's up to almost 40% of Black people saying, oh, well, if Obama's telling us to go to war,
right,
well then, you know, then go
Embrace
ahead.
That Americanism.
So, and Jared, I just put it all together. Guess who might be president in 2025? Wes Moore.
That's it. I'm saying.
Afghanistan war veteran. Oh,
yep. As soon as he was pumped before he even won the governorship, I was saying, oh, they want that motherfucker to be in that. They gonna run him.
So that was the only thing I've ever.
We did the same thing about Obama. Hey, Jared, JB. People don't beat the JB, didn't we? Man, they want that motherfucker to be president. I bet it's somebody.
Netfa, I'm never gonna let people forget. As we get older, Netfa, and history washes over us. I'm gonna always be raising that flag.
That's
you motherfucker, we was there from the beginning saying, don't do it, don't fall for it, don't go for the okie doke. And in part, again, to credit, it was for me at least, it was my association with Glenn and Bruce. They were the ones who added to my initial skepticism real substance. That made it clear we can't be supporting this fool.
No.
And so that was what I was going to say. The only time I have ever been in disagreement with Sister Ricky is in the timetable over Wes Moore. That I think he's coming sooner than she does, and she's saying,
I don't know what
that's that was I think Ricky was suggesting he's going to run in 28, right? Not this election, not this president. The next,
no.
And I was saying, I was going to say they were going to speed him up and do it in 2024.
They need, because Biden he ain't getting another one. I don't know. He looking pretty frail there, and not too lucid with the.
I will say though, I seen him talking at the NATO summit. Whatever drug they put him on in Europe is amazing. Yo, man,
you can't depend on a whole presidency on that. You can't put a whole dependency on some effects of some drug in a moment, on fleeting moment on TV or in front of some
Remember,
speech.
The biggest drug is not what he's given; it's what's given to the rest of the electorate that says he's not Trump. That's that's all he's here for. So you're right. If they could just prop up that carcass long enough.
A weekend at Bernie's. Let's go.
a weekend in Biden's office. You know what I mean? It's
man, let's go.
Just long enough. But that's it. The only thing Ricky and I have ever disagreed with is the timetable over Wes Moore's eventual presidency. And they go, because they know those numbers that Glenn was citing, and they were like, well, if Obama could get those Negroes to 38%, Wes Moore with his full 100% blackness,
right,
and two black
military,
sons.
like you said, Kim, he got the little background and all that.
Black wife, black
wife. You know, they like, I know we can get those Negroes over 50%. Going to war. Let's get all of them.
And he's not even. He doesn't have his right. He's supposed
Westmore
to be
receives
all black.
He gets no criticism in the state of Maryland, dog. Like I feel like an outlier. I'm sure Ricky probably feels the same way. I'm sure never feels the same way. Like it's almost like Obama era. Like you can't talk bad about Westmore, Baltimore. Why are you hating on the black governor? Why are you hating on that man? He's trying
And
his
as
best.
some folks have been putting me on to, he's doing enough to sprinkle around some resources and some money.
But that
He's
shit Maryland was
supporting.
gonna do anyway, though,
don't-
dog. Shit, Maryland was gonna do that shit. I mean, not necessarily, because there are some things that Hogan intentionally. That was the name of the governor. I forgot
Yep,
the nigga that
yep.
fast. Hogan, fucking Larry Hogan, for example. The
Yep.
state of Maryland, the Maryland legislature passed all this laws to support and strengthen abortion care services in the state of Maryland, overrode Larry Hogan's veto, I think, and he held up the funding. Westmore, when he got inaugurated, let loose the funding. So there are things, I guess, that he has done different than his predecessor, but man, listen, he ain't helped Baltimore fast
That
enough.
was a plan. They making people that was a plan. Hogan and him worked that shit out to be like that.
I did have a labor organizer in Maryland who's much more seasoned in this than I am. That was his argument that enough is being done for unions, for working people, for Black Baltimore, for Black businesses. He's sprinkling the money, and this dude was saying, that's why he's gonna get fast tracked into the White House, and he's gonna build off of this. I was worth the people. It's gonna be Obama's. I was a community activist all over again. I was as a governor. I was with the people, supporting the unions and the workers and Black people, and I'll do that for everybody else in the White House. In addition to leading us to war with China and whoever else. But his
most important directive there is to get the Negroes signed on to war on China.
45%. If they
got to
get 45,
yeah. And our task is to make that reactionary and backwards. Our task is to make sure we learn the lessons of history, the not so distant history of Obama. It's like, come on, y'all. Let's not get fooled. We got to sharpen, get some analysis out here. And I'm not just talking about, this platform, but in our organizing capacities, and not just the what people should know, but what we should be doing,
But that's the thing. Obama was only half Black, so he could only give us half.
So now
West
we got the whole
is going to take us over the finish line, and that's how they're going to say it. Obama walked so West could run. It's like, it's good. That's next. Anyway.
Have they had a photo op with them yet? The two of them?
Oh, it's coming. If we hadn't seen
I'm
it.
sure they ain't had.
What data are you looking for, Yipper? What do I need data for? My bad. Help me out. Because I'm with you on the data. What you need the data for? The sprinkling,
the money.
The money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. It's out there. I could. But I don't have it at my fingertips. But if that's it, yeah, he's sprinkled me, man. He's E40 in Maryland. He's
No, and that's how. I mean, again, like I got on the ObamaCon on the first run. Like I got. I'm like I can't.
A lot of people did.
I got.
People did.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's how this Westmore shit looks that much more clear to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, wait. I've had
this Kim learned.
Yeah, and we got to make sure other people learn. I think
that's Deruba and Harris may step off to the Supreme Court rather than be a standard bearer for the neoliberal Democratic Party.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Ugh, yuck.
What's
but
the
fuck the Supreme Court anyway. But yeah, that's what'd you say?
What drug? we were talking about drugs. I'm sorry. Well, whatever Kamala is on. How much they want for that for a gram? Because that shit is Kamala be looking like she's chilling. You should have seen her.
Deruba must have been joking with that. I can't even imagine. Y'all had to be joking. She can't be. That would just be a joke.
You know how that liberal Deruba be doing. You can't be.
Who's going to appoint her though? Who's stepping down for her appointment? But
how old is everybody?
Yeah,
on the court,
young, except for Clarence Coon ass is probably the oldest one, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody else is significantly younger, I think.
And
so.
He's gonna die on time. he's going to die on schedule for the Republicans. Even he's not even going to. He's not going to do nobody no favors. He's going to live right to that. They're going to whatever that Dick Cheney battery they got. They're going to give to Thomas just to keep him.
All that stuff is
until he can die appropriately timed for a Republican replacement.
But the rhetoric is going to be the same as it was for Biden. Well, at least he's not Trump. You know, when Wes Moore or whoever the next appointed Democrat is, well, at least he's not DeSantis. You know what I mean? Like so how we need to counter that? Like, y'all need to want better for yourself, man. Or yeah, clearly he's not DeSantis, but whatever the liberal Democrat version of DeSantis is, you know what I'm saying? He may not be as harsh on trans or LGBTQ and maybe put on some front about, you know, wanting to keep equality and restore affirmative action and but war-wise, the same.
Yeah, they all got it. That's a prerequisite for the job. You
so everybody
be
come
able
back
to kill babies in other countries.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Before you can't do that, you're not going to be president.
That's on that checklist.
Fine print.
You kill babies in other countries.
Bomb
and a few over here, by the way. By the way, so that's why everybody should come back at 2:00 Eastern today for Cornel West's return, and we can you can ask him and support him. He did no work against Biden and West and all of them. And
ask
Kim
Deruba to come on. Can Deruba come on and join y'all with Cornel West?
Wow,
he's always welcome. Deruba, you run at 2:00. I'll hit you up with the link. Come on through at 2:00. Kim, what you got coming up on Burn It Down? Anything to let us know about?
Nope. We have it's happening tomorrow at 7 p.m. I was gonna ask, did you have any super chats? Because I know I saw the super chats.
We did. You know what? Thank you. There were a couple actually that I didn't get to. So first of all, Quaker Anarchist, who's solely responsible for our entire social media.
She's a Twitter street team. Thank you for that.
Imagine having Jackie, Kim, Netfa, Jared, and Honor Deruba all in the freaking morning. Worth just to talk. Decertify police unions now. Right on. Thank you, Quaker Anarchist. Appreciate you and appreciate the super chat. I think I got the Jean. Renee, just want to thank Jab, Kim, Netfa, and the remixers, some who showed IRL for the support and input. It definitely helped to shape some of the conversation with the panel. Thank you. Congratulations. On. Glad to hear it.
Is that recorded? I want to see that.
I hope so.
And they put me in contact with that filmmaker too.
Same here. We working on, we're going to do a Voices with Vision, BPM, something. I don't know. We'll figure something. We're going to do something.
Yeah,
I'm just making that up as we go along, but it seems like it should happen.
We should do it. Yeah,
we can make it work. So,
is that Roberto on his job?
That's not Roberto. Is that Netfa? Who you got out there?
That's my.
Deruba's. There it is.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
I gotta come back on that.
I'll send the link to your WhatsApp.
I'm so busy. Y'all gonna make me neglect my work.
I think we got Jackie, Coco, me, Deruba.
Let's get it.
I might just hang back. I might just push some buttons and send some questions up.
Look at the recording. I don't know.
I might have to produce that joint because I feel like we're gonna have. I think Kamal, Kalan. I think everybody's coming through. So I might, we might have to hang back a little bit, but that's fine with me. I have no problem being subbed out for Deruba and Jackie and whoever. So anyway, but we'll see.
Set your bells, everybody. Set your notifications. 2 p.m. today.
That's today, exactly.
Our dear brother.
Thank you.
Dear brother. Dear brother coming back. Dear brother. Yes. So anyway, all right, good people. Thank you very much. Please, by the way, as I did and do often, go check out the WPFW archives and check out Voices with Vision from Tuesday. We didn't get it really talk about it today, but come back next week. We'll talk about next week's show.
All right.
Now that you being conscribed by the remix.
See what's happening there.
Thank you, Netfa. You make the time. Thank you. 2 days,
so on that note, before he could change his mind, peace.